Well, now tell us, what have you been doing this weekend here in Puerto Rico?
Well, my time in Puerto Rico has, I believe, very strategic in the aspect of we've been working with church leaders, pastors, to help strengthen the mission movement within Puerto Rico. There's such tremendous potential here, and I believe that God is bringing Puerto Rico into a time that's extremely unique in the way that God wants to raise up the Church of Puerto Rico to literally be a powerhouse in the nations, but also be an example to the nations in the area of missions. And the reason that I'm here is this is one of my passions. In 2007, we launched a major project called Global Pathway, or Senda Global in Spanish. And this is a program that I put together because I have, again, such a passion for the local church. And so what I've done is I've taken my experience working with local churches for the past 25 years, my 27 years now of missions experience, and we have put that together and have created what we call a comprehensive program in training pastors on how to build strong mission churches, or what we would call Great Commission churches. Now, this project was launched, like I said, in 2007, and we really started out well with the churches in the States, but really our biggest project has been in Russia. I've spent a tremendous amount of time with leaders across Russia in the last 4.5 years, almost 5 years now. We have trained over 600 Russian churches to be strong mission churches, which has caused, we've seen an incredible impact in the Russian church. We've seen hundreds of new churches planted, but we have really seen Russian churches raising up Russian teams sent out to unreached regions of the world with Russian money. See, the potential was there all the time. It was just simply putting the tools in their hands so they can maximize their potential. And that is the hunger, I believe, in the hearts of the pastors right now in the Puerto Rican church. And so by invitation, I've been asked to come here and work with the churches, and actually we have just finished a Senda Global conference. Now, Cynthia, what we really do in that conference is we really zero in on 4 main areas that are so essential. If we can get these 4 areas, then what it does, it creates a structure within the local church where they can be very effective in missions. I'll just tell you those real quickly. The first one is that we empower the pastor. See, it hasn't been really fair. For pastors, they have not had the adequate tools put in their hands or the adequate understanding of cross-cultural ministry. That has left them in a place of weakness. And this is why you have the Puerto Rican pastors rallying together right now, really hungering for that type of impartation and equipping, because there is this burden to send Puerto Rican missionaries to the nations of the world. And so we start by empowering the pastor to be competent, confident, and committed to lead their churches in missions. Then we actually teach the pastors and leaders how to envision their people for missions. Now, there's 2 things that's got to happen in that. One is that you got to be able to show Christians sitting in your church that this is the Bible. See, missions is not a special call to a chosen few. Missions is really the call of God on every believer. See? But they've got to see that in the Bible. Okay? So you got to show it to them scripturally. But then as a pastor, he has to show his congregation not only is it biblical for us to be a missions church, but also God has shown us how to do this. See, I mean, we can do this thing. So we have given this envisioning process to the pastors. Then we show them how to put together a written missions plan, where you literally have the processes, the systems, the guidelines, so that it is the operational side of this thing. See, the vision comes from the pastor. The pastor is the visionary leader of the church, okay? So it's not for us to tell a pastor what his mission vision is. What we do is bring the operational side of the plan that actually can show him how he can empower his people to carry out the work of missions within the church. Because one of the goals of Synod Global is not to burden the pastor, to actually empower the pastor where the pastor can actually see more accomplished with less effort. Okay? And then we talk about, okay, how do you launch everybody in the local congregation into personal mission involvement? Now, there's going to be some in the congregation that are called to go. Okay? That's just the way it is. Every church has missionaries setting in that congregation. The problem is maybe sometimes they don't even know it. You know, and if there isn't an atmosphere of missions, if there is not a focus on missions within that church, people that God has divinely called could literally sit there their whole life and never answer the call of God that's on their life. And so what we have done is we've shown these pastors that you can mobilize not only the missionaries in your church, but what do you do with the rest of the people? They're called to missions too. You're either called to be a sent one, sent out from the church, or you're called to send. So we literally show the pastors how you can mobilize every person in your church in the area of praying, in the area of sending other missionaries through their finances. And like I said, we have seen this in other parts of the world. God has done phenomenal things. We have seen Synod Global bless churches spiritually, numerically, and financially. We've got Russian churches right now that they are growing exponentially because when you get your people with a vision for the world and a heart for the world, they'll have a heart for their own neighborhood. See? And so they're seeing more salvations in their own congregation. But not only that, because their people are giving to missions, the blessing of God is coming upon their church. We have letters from Russian pastors that saying that the tithes and the offerings are going up in the Sunday services 50, some of them even up to 100%. And so we're seeing tremendous results in some of these areas. Now the program has expanded from Russia into the Ukraine, into Southeast Asia, and now it's starting to sweep through Latin America. And we believe that on the front edge of that movement through Latin America, that Puerto Rico is right up there at the top, that this is God's hour for the Church of Puerto Rico.